Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Sacred Return Academy. If you are here on YouTube, this is Kimberly, aka the Passport Traveler. What you see me doing right now, I'm at the Cape Coast Castle, aka Slave Dungeon. I'm going to the waters to look over. This is the water, same ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, where they tossed our ancestors in here alive and well if they were disobedient, did not want to be sexually assaulted, or if they tried to escape. This was their final resting place. Again, this is the Cape Coast Castle in Cape Coast, Ghana. Hello, everyone, and I want to welcome you to the Sacred Return Academy here in Ghana, West Africa. The video you are about to watch is a tour of the Elmina Castle, aka Slave Dungeon. It is called the St. George Castle. Now, I'm going to clear up a few things that Peter kind of missed out on. When they kidnapped our ancestors, they did not kidnap slaves. They kidnapped doctors, carpenters, masons, healers. Outside of doctors, they kidnapped healers. They kidnapped regular people, families, little children, husbands, and wives. They took them into the castle, put them down in the dungeon, and prepared them to be sold off into slavery and taken across to the United States of America. Well, they took them to different countries. Also, So again, the transatlantic slave trade took place in Ghana, West Africa, aka the Gold Coast. Now, part of your homework will be, if you are a student watching this, part of your homework in the future will be to look up the Gold Coast and give us a story about what happened. Just pretty much maybe 2 or 3 pages. I'll let your teacher determine what you do, depending on your age. But Africa also had a different name. It was not originally Africa, and then you can look that up as well. Okay, so another thing I want to remind you of is that they did put our ancestors in these dungeons. The men were in the male dungeon, the women were in the female dungeon. They lived in their blood, sweat, tears, feces, vomit, urine, afterbirth, menstrual blood. They lived amongst diseased bodies until the white people came and removed the diseased bodies. They lived among the dead as well until someone came and removed the dead person, and they tossed them into the Atlantic Ocean, aka Gulf of Guinea. So as you see this ocean, as Peter will refer to it as the sea, they call it the sea over here in Ghana. Our ancestors' final resting place was in this water, and their spirits are alive and well in that water as well. We believe that when there's a hurricane in the United States, our ancestors stir the water up over here. I witnessed this water get very, very aggressive, and it makes its way across to the United States, where it gets bigger and stronger and more aggressive, and it turns into a hurricane. When the hurricane hits its destination in the U.S., we feel it over here in Ghana. Please enjoy the video. If you have any questions, write them down or ask your teacher.
It's not a good day at all. I must say it's part of the script. So this is the time we need to tell our own story. My name is Kobina. I'm here to show you around, all over around, to tell you the inner history and the outer history of Elmina Castle. I'm here to tell you a lot of how people normally go to this castle, and they just take them straight away to the dungeon, straight away to the shops, and they go back. This is not like that. I'm taking you to the pinpoint because you're worth it to look around all over. This castle over here, sitting here, it's built by the Dutch. built by Elmina Castle. This is part of it. At least when you enter in the castle, you might ask yourself, what is this? It's a grave that was buried through the Dutch people. So some of the Dutch people, those who were much more interested about living here, were killed by mosquitoes. Why is it? Because the mosquitoes was our weapon. During the old times, you have no weapons. So most of them died, and because of that, they get rid of them to take it out from the countries, because they are not strong to come to join us in this situation. This, as you can see here, that's the carnival. This is where normally they use it to fight against our own people. So those Dutch people who were here were buried here in Elmina here, and some are the samples of them who died through malaria. And the entrance, as you can see, this is the moat. The moat means the security point. Why is it? Because it was full of water. Most of the slaves were much more interested about taking their own freedom, because freedom is for us. So in the night, they raised this gate up. So whoever wants to run to the township for their own freedom fell into it. So this is the trap for my people. We are towards going inside to the castle. Some of the symbols from the Portuguese. When the Dutch were here, they also changed what they have. So we have what belongs to the Dutch, we have what belongs to the Portuguese all around. And I will show you the differences, bricks as it belongs to who the country is. So this is the inner moat. The inner moat stands especially also as a security point. So we have the inner moat and outer moat. This castle itself is sitting up of a rock 120 feet down, and there's no foundation, so they put it up of the rock. Here we are in the yard of the slave dungeon. I don't call this castle, I call it horrible dungeon. In the times of being, this is the middle part of it, where normally, as when you say somebody is up higher, the governor goes up mostly. Those people who were the merchants to control the slaves were living up, so it's much more easy for them to see when they're running and going.
Some of the soldiers went out.
So, I'm always in here to call the male dungeon. The male dungeon here was meant to put the male people over here, the males over here, to take them around and to them always go, because when you reach over here, that's where you're gonna wait for your destination. Most people live here with no food, no water. Over here, as we are standing, that is the male dungeon. And the male dungeon here, we're having a space whereby you put what is called shackles in your hands. Here is the point that there's not enough shackles. So what they do is they have a room, steam room for tattoo. So they'll put the steam in the fire. This is the room. They put the steam in the fire and they put it in your body, so that whoever want to escape, that is the original iron. So they put it on fire and they put the sign who you belongs to in the boat, so that when you run, you can be easily recommend to see where you run into. So we are walking to the female dungeon. Female dungeon here connect to the male dungeon, because the male dungeon is the entrance where we came, and see where the exit point. We're going to the dark way. As you can see, I'm in the dark room. Why is it? Because here was the point whereby they put in the slaves here to wait for the boat to come. The female will be passing through this hole over here to join the male to go to the gate of no return. This is the gate of no return. Now is gate of return, because whoever watching this will definitely go back to the root. So it tells you how painful it was being in shackles in darkness. They will be putting you around all over around to bring you here to wait for the boat. Imagine how do you feel? No food, no water, and it's harder for them to, so that they can lay energy so they can be easily pushed into the boat. As you can see, a lot of tributes over here are the people that comes to visit. They show peace and harmony to our own people. So this is the gate of no return. So please go inside there and see the outside of it. See the wonderful view. And this is what is called the viewpoint to pick up yourself, to put you in the boat. And putting you in the boat here, most people, those who died, will be thrown back to the sea. We are moving to the female dungeon from here. Watch your head. Here from here to the female dungeon. Let's see the female dungeon. This is the way the females that couldn't have the chance to run. This is why they bring you here.
So the videos who survived in the dungeons, they were also forced to follow inside to the room of no return.
So
Their sheds. At
this
that time, there was a staircase.
is the female dungeon. This is the female dungeon. All over here is the female dungeon. Rooms around here are where they keep the females in here, so that when the boat comes, they will just join to the male to put them inside. Here in this dungeon in the middle, the governor, whoever stands up there, the governor stands up there, and what happens next? They bring all the female here so that the governor will choose the choice. Then after choosing the choice, when you refuse to go to the governor's apartment, they will kneel down here, put you here. You will carry this heavy load. I can't, me man, I can't, but female, they'll put you, they will let you hold it, put it there. It's very heavy. So for some time that you will change your mind. This is the water. When you change your mind, you'll be washed here. You'll be washed here. This is the kind of water they used to wash you before they take you to the governor's apartment. Let's walk to the female dungeons to see how. We still smell. We still smell it here. We still smell it here. And we might say, this is not a joke point. This is the main point that people need to develop their capacity to understand how people doesn't take it just like that. This is the point that you can see. We still have the smell from many years ago, and we still have it, and it's in the veins. Woo. This is the original floor. This is the original floor. This castle is built in 1482. 1482. It tells you how people feel pains when they come around to visit the castle. They bring their own flowers and other things to show it is. This is not always, I say, this is not a castle. It's horrible dungeon. So just the corner of the female dungeon, there's a hole there, and this hole tells you how people were so wicked to the people. Why is it? Because they put gunpowder and other stuffs over there. So when the smell comes, it's come automatic to the woman. They get weak here, so they might be easily be able to confuse them to take them to the ship. Getting understand and agree to go with the government, they passes you through here. They put you through here, and you'll be walking all around. They'll be waiting for you up there. You go there to see. That is called the officer's mess. That's where they sit and eat. So once they see the woman coming through here, they passes you through here to up of the governor's apartment. And going through the governor's apartment over there, they'll be waiting, and everybody will see women coming, and they'll be clapping because they are eating and they are happy to see the people and the woman to enjoy them in the night. I might say this is the serious out of it. The female will be living here, lie down here, and there's a lot of bars of iron just for security. This is the original. This tells you how they wicked to our own people. And they never stop because it's still in the shackles in darkness. So this is the floor. I might say this is not the original clothes over here. We slept here for some time ago just to see how we feel, because most people were trying to feel how our own people were. So it was a theater between the students to come and see how it was. And they'll never find it easier, like how we think.
Come on.
Loss. So, I'm standing here. This is the condemned cells. As you can see, the cross of the skull, it tells you how dangerous it is. Those, our own people who refuse to obey the law from the other end to run for their own freedom will be put in here, no food, water, till they die. So this is the condemned cells. So this is the original condemned cells for the black people. And when you shut the door, it goes like this. Ooh. See how darkness, and we are still in shackles in darkness. This tells you how deep and the darkness where we were. So if somebody says castle, it's just the name of it, but it's horrible shackles in darkness. So when you see that up there, there's a hole there. This is the only way that we breathe, and where the air comes from, let's see the next cells. This is a space for the white people, especially who wants to save the blacks. Or when they wanted to rape the white, our own people, they kept them here for some hours. And that is the only space that we get air for the black condemned people that are there to die with no water, no food, so they died. So it goes here. This tells you how the armies were having a train going up and down during those times. They put them up there to climb up there, up and down, just for them to get the energy. That's for the armies. So that was a step for the armies to go up and down. Oh, as you see, this is the Portuguese church. And it was officers' mess for the Dutch. But now it's a museum. So let's see inside and see how Elmina was. This is a landscape. The map, full map of Elmina. We have one fort and one castle here in Elmina. It was more than it, but when the British were leaving, they put a lot of bombs what we have, so that there will be no much of what they did over here to save us. So first Portuguese, second Dutch, British, basic education, they bring it here. This is the image of Elmina and the culture. As you can see this end, it tells you where we were. Remember, the Asantes were here. The Asante, when you say Asante, the Asantes were here. Why is it? Because the Asantes were here when doing the exchange. We have Pembrey the first. He was ones who were also engaged with the whole of the history. So his part of the script was here. You can see the Christianity and hallelujah came from this end. Why is it? Because in those times, during that times, they normally use the Christianity to bring the mindset so they can be able to keep the children as when they give birth to the locals for their own benefits. When you come to Elmina, that's what is called the mulattoes. Mulattoes are the people especially were born with them. People who were mixed up to have children with for their own interest. Some of the Dutch were much more interested about the local women. Why is it? Because when they give birth to the child is very benefit for their own business. So they were having a lot of children, which is called the mulattoes. They keep the child and they keep the mother back to the slavery. In some time comes, what happens was that the mulattoes became fashion for the people of Elmina, especially when people give birth to mulatto, they treat them more differently. So it happens that when you have a mulatto child, people hire them for weddings, decorations, and other stuff. So it became business for some time ago. This is the shackles. These are the goods, the trade goods that they tried to exchange with the gold and the people. We have the gold, they change it, they give us tobacco, perfume. First money was carries. Secondly, they changed to coin. After, they changed to glass. And whatever they have over here is what is called the shackles. The shackles that we put in leg and your feet. This is the iron which is written by painted. They put it in heat. And when it gets very hot, there's a name on it. So when they put it in your body, it stays as a tattoo, as a sign. So wherever you run to, you need to return to where you come from because you already have the sign on the body. This is part of it. We normally don't take people around in other way around. Why is it? Because a lot of people come to visit the castle, and because of time shift, people go straightly to the dungeons, and after they buy books and go. But I'm here to take you the pinpoint of the castle so that you can be able to see all around. You don't lose anyone. These are some of the places. That is where the hidden of Christianity. It was a church that they built it here to use the mindset of the human so that they can be able to keep you calm. And they will ask you to keep quiet, to keep it cool, don't validate who you are so that you will die to go to heaven. So they start heaven with the heavy places. But because of business and people doesn't seem to take very seriously about what to see, they don't dig in. They just come in and go out. So this is where they started the hallelujah. This is the courtyard. This courtyard tells you a lot of how people were more of enjoying their lives whilst putting our own people in the dungeon. In the evening time, they will be sitting here around, see the township, see the beauty of the township. And they are up higher. Mostly remember, the Dutch and the Portuguese, when they were all mixed up, everybody loved to go up higher. So it's much more easy for them to see far from where some of the ships or some of the guys will be running. Especially our own people were so strong to why they want their own freedom. And see how beautiful the environment in Elmina is, the landscape. And they still ask you to wait till you die to go to heaven. That's the main church, and that's the sign of the church. You see the church? And this is a sign that the Dutch brought church here also. They put a sign over there just to show that heaven and earth is here. This is what I think for now. Because as you can see how it is, church up, slavery dungeon down. So it says heaven and earth. I think what they're thinking, it's all over here. They're going up. So the Hallelujah and the Bible were all engaged over up here. See how wide a space is. See how heavy windows are. See how they put a lot of script from the Bible there. But imagine how does it happen? When you go down there, there's a huge power of people still suffering, dying slowly. Why is it? Because they're not happy. They dare to wait for the boat, and they always put it in their mind that they should come, they shouldn't value the kind of gold and who they are, but they will die and they will go to heaven for better things. This is the corruptions from the mindset of the people. So the hallelujah became a corruption for the people of Africa. When you look down here, this is what I was talking about. The down there is the female dungeon, and the up here is the church. So this sign tells you that it's still telling you heaven and earth is where. See, and this is the kind of how it was treated. My people were treated more badly and sadly. So this is where the government starts and choose the best part of it. So when the woman agreed to come to join so that they can be able to be free, normally people don't want stress a lot, so they have to be calm so that they can come to the governor's apartments. And when they give birth, they thought you'd be tracing back for your daughter or your son, so they have to come and remain you back to the slavery. Then they keep the child and train the child mindset to understand the kind of who they are. This is the point where you can see from this end. This tells you how the woman comes all over here from the female dungeon and the stairs. As you bring the woman here, as the woman comes the stand, you walk all around here. This is the officers' mess. So they will be sitting here eating and crafting. Why is this? Because they have new catch in the night. And after the governor eats finish, they take you to the governor's apartment. So see how they were happy and having more space and where they want to live, but with our people more sadly and more hypocrites. See, this is the governor's one apartment. This is the sitting room for the governor. And they'll be living here in Lagos. You see a lot of things like the township, how beautiful the township is. So this tells you how people love who they are, but they still keep you to not to love who you are. So this is the sitting room for the governor. The big bedroom for the governor. the bedroom for the governor. So, this tells you a lot about how they have extra space, eating, drinking, good food, and keeping people, but still using the mindset to tell them to do what they want because of the interest of what they have. They don't have, and they want to take it out from your hands. So it tells you we're still in the shackles in darkness. So we are going down to the stage to show you more of where the hidden place is. So this is the officers' ends where they sit and eat and they try to be happy for themselves. Why is it? Because they have what they want. And we thought, because no weapon at times. Remember, the children that they give birth became the mindset of who they are. So some of them were much more supporting for their own parents so they can be able to capture what they want. This is the space where they started sitting here. So when it says a castle itself is how they were feeling. But the name is a castle. It doesn't sound to we, those people that we passes through this. This is called the horrible dungeon. They passes through putting a lot of what is called security points, so that the township, nobody seems to come to attack them. So these are the cannonballs that they put it here to face the township, so that when they have any problem, they can just blow it and destroy the township. You can see from this end, the Portuguese were here first. After Dutch, British was the last people that they can pass through here. They brought the basic education so that we can be able to speak for them for their own benefit of the business. They come for more gold. Then the Dutch brought that one up higher when they handled the castle to the Portuguese. So this is the watchtower. It's called the watchtower. That is the Fort St. Jago. Fort St. Jago. The Fort St. Jago, it's meant for normally like a watchtower, so they can easily see where the warships are coming. But they were also being able to try to put security point so they can be able to keep the castle forever. People come to the castle, just down there to the dungeon, and they run back. Why is it? Because it's the mindset and the time that they don't have. But we're doing this to go around all over to show you where you don't put people through it, so that you can be able to get in, to go around to understand the kind of who we are. This is a space where, when the British started putting schools in the castle, what they did, they put the higher point for the merchants so that they can be able to even see far from where, especially the students are here. So this is the classroom, the original classroom they built for the British students, especially for basic education for our own people, so that we can learn from their books, to learn the picture form, to do everything as they want us to do, not what we want them to do. So it was all about called the shackles in darkness. These are all here. It was all classrooms. Going down to the governor's kitchen. Might be security always here so that they can be able to much more safe. They were not safe. So because of the benefit of the people that they really want their own benefit to be happy, they still write it for us. The same people wrote it for us so that we can be able to say the way they want. So they don't bring you here. They never bring you to the corners. They don't put you in a space where let them feel the pains. They just put the laugh aside of it and la la la. We're moving. This is a space where, as you can see, in Christianity, on lives of worshiping, they put space especially for the priests. So this is where they normally have their plans before they go there to preach you. So before you go to the church there, they already know your mindset. So it's much easier for them to get what you want. Dungeon. Number down. So we are moving towards to where they never took people around to show them. We want to show the underground where we call it here Elmina. Elmina means the lemina, the mining setter, and see what happened. We have a well here whilst they were mining inside. So they ignore it from the British book where they wrote the history for us. So I'm going to take you around there so you can be able to understand the kind of business they were here. So this tells you how we normally hide things from our own people still again. It tells you that there's a lot of things that, especially when people come, they need to go around to see, but they thought they cut it in the paper form a little bit, so you can never see all over around here. Let me show you. As you can see from this end, all over here is classrooms, especially for basic education for the British. And we also have well just underneath here that covers a lot of water going around here because basic education started here when the British came to Tobago. It tells you much more time that the whole whereby is full of water and there's a stairs down. See how it is. So it's a walkable stairs, goes down all over around, and there is business was underneath here. It covers here, nobody sees it, and it's more harder for people to go because it's full of water down there. And there was a business that between here. So we still in the shackles in darkness. Nobody seems to get to know this, and they don't show. Why is it? Because there's a lot of what is called shackles in darkness. More of they have the up well here too. So there's a well here. That's a huge part of it. You see how it is? So if people say the miner, it's mining means there's something underneath and the castle. So this tells you a lot. We still have hidden stuffs all around, but it's much more not easy for other people to show our own people who we are. So I took you all around and I show you all around, and it is your way to always to find it because it's better to know much than hide it. We are not still in the shackles in darkness. Why is it? Because we go around and you've seen it. Going up here tells you a lot about when the basic education were here, there was still security points around. So they use here at a security point. It's far a little bit. That is how it is. So the boats here were the security point, and also where the coconuts are were full of scars. So what they did is put coconut there just to cover the sand, so that most times we can be able to get to cover the hardship of it. So this was also a hidden thing. We have show you all around, and I'm happy to do this tour to you so that you can be able to understand the kind of never hide things from our own people. So I'm telling you this, that we've seen it and you have it. So deal with it, and more of positive response always. My name is Kobina.